Hi everyone, and welcome to the Sagittarius Weekly Illumination Reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren. Hi and welcome. So this is a slightly different reading from my previous readings, and seeing that I am a new mother and my schedule has changed, so I'm trying to be able to fit more readings in, but in a slightly condensed way. So this is going to be the new format for my readings. I hope you guys enjoy them. I will also be releasing one more comprehensive spiritual purpose connection reading later on in the month, one for each sign, so I hope you get a chance to check that out. Now, this reading specifically is meant to engage us with the Triad of Engagement, which utilizes the core principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and shows us how when we use these, we can actually illuminate and bring awareness to some aspect of our unique internal authentic self and how that needs to connect with our external environment and our spiritual purpose. All right. So Sagittarius, as I was stepping into your energy, I did get kind of a little bit of an intuitive hit of, I heard the home fires are burning. And I saw somebody kind of sitting and staring out the window with candles, very similarly to this, and kind of sit there and be looking out the window with a sense of contentment. And then they blew out the candle, turned around, and they basically walked into a beautiful home scene. So there is this quality here, I feel like, Sagittarius, that this week specifically you are moving more into an appreciation for your home and maybe what you want to see more of in your home, but there is this element of feeling at peace. And maybe it's been a while since you felt that way. Maybe this isn't something that, occurs to you all the time, or maybe it is. Maybe it's just bringing that extra level of awareness to your home and with kind of cozy feeling. We're moving into fall, the weather's changing, and well, depending on where you live, you could be moving into spring if you live on the other side of the equator. But there's an element here of seeing the change happen and kind of feeling into that and feeling that your home is that safe and cozy place. So I don't know why that came through. I don't know if it'll come through in the messages, but we'll find out here. So Sagittarius, we are going to pull a Power of Surrender card to engage us with the core principle of curiosity. And this is where we get a chance to open ourselves up with that childlike sense of awe and wonder to what we don't know about our unique internal authentic selves, as well as how we should be engaging that with our external environment. So we are stepping into that place of bypassing some of those programmed negative habits, negative thought patterns, where we tell ourselves, oh, we know everything about ourselves. We know who we are and we can't change. Or we know about something in our external environment and we don't see a way that it can be changed. And so we're breaking through that to see, what do we not know? What does Spirit want us to know about where we need to continue to engage a unique internal aspect of ourselves more fully with our external environment to better see our spiritual purpose and to feel that emotional fulfillment and connection to life. Okay, so we have two cards that came out. We have Surrender Your Desire to Control People, and we have Surrender Worry. So that's interesting. I feel like this is kind of like in direct opposition to the energy that I feel was coming in with this kind of relating to the home. So we'll see what messages come through here. So we have Surrender Your Desire to Control People. It says, being overly controlling can sabotage relationships. To more effectively achieve your goals, back off, regroup, and give the situation some breathing room. And then we have Surrender Worry. And it says, make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. So when we're thinking about the principle of curiosity, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be building out a question to ask yourself throughout this week to bring awareness to your unique individual experience specifically, to take what is a very general reading and make it an individualized message for you. So what I would say here with taking a look at these two cards, surrender worry and surrender your desire to control people. I feel here that there is this element coming through, especially with the first intuitive hit that I had about wanting to feel at peace in your home environment, that there is somebody in your experience that you are currently not feeling that with, that currently is a block to you being able to lean or live into a home environment that makes you feel at peace, that makes you feel warm and safe and secure. And there's something there that is either disruptive or that you are just simply trying to control the other person. So this is where we have to learn a very a very tough lesson. It's a lesson that I'm even aware of, and yet I still battle with it, is that we cannot control other people. The only thing that we can control in our relationship to other people is how we react to them. So we can change how we react to what they do, or we can change our perception of them. But we can't change them. So if there's something specifically frustrating to you about another individual, you can do one of two things. You can choose to not be around them, depending on the situation, or you can choose to change your perception of what frustrates you about them. You can actually lean into accepting who they are and loving who they are, despite parts of them that you wish would change. But what I would say here, building out a question for yourself to bring awareness to you, to bring awareness back to yourself and your experience, is where is you specifically wanting to control another? Where is your attention being pushed in that space, and where you are not allowing yourself to just lean into, live into, and appreciate and fully experience your home environment? Now, I know that seems a little kind of convoluted, but there's this quality here that, so what's coming through for me here is really interesting. It's something about money, and perhaps maybe somebody in your partnership or home life is not making enough money, or they don't view money in the same way that you do. That's what's coming through for me just intuitively. So I'm going to go with that as part of this message, that there's this element here of worrying about the other person in your home, and possibly and that's what's creating the tension. That's what's creating this feeling of maybe insecurity, that your home isn't the safe, cozy space, that you are fantasizing about something that would make you feel great, but that unfortunately the other person you're sharing this home environment with is causing you to have great worry over something that makes you feel insecure, which is money or something related to the tangible world. Now, I don't know why that's coming through very strongly for me, but it is. So what I would say here as part of your question to yourself is, where can you change either your perception on money, your perception on wealth? What makes you feel wealthy? And what's interesting is I read this, so I follow this woman, Tanya Gabrielle, and she had a really interesting little, I got a little weekly email from her, and with regards to what we consider wealth, or if we were to think of ourselves as if we were putting out a wish to the world or to the universe to say, I wish I was more wealthy. And what would that mean to you? What does wealth mean to you? Does wealth mean an abundance of physical money? Does wealth mean having a wealth of love and support in your life? Does wealth mean having an abundance of peace in your life? Does wealth mean that you are able to go out and experience adventurous whatever in your life? There's this element of getting down to what Naturally, that's the real question that's coming through. What does wealth mean to you? What would you like more of, and what are you not receiving in your, what do you feel you are lacking? And this is where we can actually really change a limiting perspective that we can develop as we go from childhood into adulthood, where we start to look at everything that we don't have instead of looking at everything that we do have. And we can also get into a limiting mindset where we believe that we can never have over a certain amount, where we believe that we're kind of stuck in this one, space of, well, the most I can ever make is this, or the most I can ever do is this. And that you maybe get stuck in a place where you feel like you have to rely on another to get you outside of that point, or where you feel like you're constantly pushing with somebody else to just get up to, kind of this equilibrium place of, well, this is the highest we can go. We have to work together to both get to that point. But in reality, you're limitless and your potential is limitless. The only thing that limits us from being able to take action to realize our fullest potential is ourselves, because we are in the seat of our own personal control, where we choose to take action, including how we choose to change our perception of things, to change something from I can only ever achieve this to I can achieve anything, to kind of adopt that mindset of, well, if that person can do it, so could I. And that's kind of all you need to really, in thinking about where to be curious and what means what actually means being wealthy to you. Then build in that second question of where perhaps are you trying to force or control or think that you have to enter into a relationship with another where you feel like they have to step up and contribute because you yourself can't achieve what you ultimately think you want to achieve, and what your soul is crying out for you to achieve, what would make you feel at peace, what would make you feel at home, what would make, like, if you turned around from looking out the window and you looked back and your home life could be whatever you wanted it to be, what would that look like? What would abundance mean to you? And I think once you realize what that abundance means to you, what does wealth mean to you, and then you realize you don't have to have somebody else's help to get there. That's your idea, your own personal idea of abundance. You can create that for yourself. Yes, we all want to bring in partnerships to share in that experience, but ultimately, that's your hope or dream or desire. That's your need to feel peace. That might not be the other individual. So instead of trying to focus on getting them and worrying about how they're not meeting your needs or helping you meet to this level that you want to get to realize you can do it on your own. Your potential is limitless, and we all have the potential to realize our own hopes and dreams. And you do as well. And Sagittarius, you are the archer. You're the one to aim your arrow, shoot it, and let it fly. And there's this quality here of doing that for yourself, to realize you hold the arrow. You can let it fly as far and as high as you want. And it's time to release your worry and trying to control somebody else to get you to a place that you can get yourself to. All right, that was a very interesting message that all came through. I hope it resonates with some of you guys. So now I'm going to pull a animal oracle card to bring in, see some messages around the concept of courage. And courage is where we step into our seat of personal power. This is where we get that chance to really become aware. So this is the courage to take conscious action. The courage to be aware that we have the ability to be engaged with every decision that we make, and that it's our choice ultimately to be engaged. That no one is forcing us to take actions. We are the ones choosing to take the action. So again, brings us back to our seat of personal power, because we realize the more we become consciously aware of each and every tiny decision we make, the more we become aware of where we can start to make little changes in our life on our own, not trying to change the external environment, but trying to change our internal self to be able to realize change in our external environment. All right, let's see. There we go. Love it. Well, this could be more perfect. We have Groundhog Spirit, time to let go. And it's number 31, breaking down to a 4. I think that this is a pretty clear message coming through for you, Sagittarius. So when we're thinking about having the courage to take action this week, you're being asked to have the courage to let go. Let go of your need to control another, and let go of a limiting mindset. You have the ability to realize and change your perspective again to one of, well, why can't I achieve that for myself? If I want that for my life, then what do I need to change in my own actions to achieve that for myself? And you can hope, if you are dealing with a significant other, that they come along for the ride, or that they see the same vision and want to share in that, but that's their choice. They don't have to. And, this can also, I'm just getting like an intuitive hit too. I mean, this can be actually when you're living with somebody who maybe is not happy in the work that they do. They're maybe not making enough, or they're constantly complaining about what they do. And you're trying to show them how they can leave that job or do something different, or, and the other person just isn't open to hearing it. And that could be frustrating too, but that's also your desire to control them on a very, base level, that you are trying to control their happiness. You're trying to control, their experience. And unfortunately, that's on them. They are living their life and you are living your life. And no two people can live somebody else's life. You can bring your two individual lives together and try to help build a common goal, but ultimately you live your own life. So that can also be another thing that comes in here, that if that is your scenario, that it's just time to let it go. If they are that unhappy, then eventually they'll get to a place where then something will change. Or they will have to then face the fact that they have to go to counseling or get help or apply for another job or whatever it is. But that's not on you to make them happy. Each one of us has a self-responsibility to make ourselves happy. And what I'm feeling here with just more of the intuitive hits that are coming in. There's this quality here of if that's the case as well, it might not be money related. It could be that the other person in your life is maybe not happy. Maybe you're happy with your home life and happy with everything, but that person isn't. And you're trying to show them ways to become happy. You're trying to love them more, but it's not changing anything. And what you're going to have to realize is that you can't change that for them. You can't make them wake up and be happy, or wake up and be appreciative, or wake up and feel the wealth that you already recognize in your life. You have to continue to follow your own life path. You have to continue to follow your own abundance and to create your own abundance, and realize that you can continue to create whatever you would like for yourself. If the other person wants to join in on their own, or they want to take action on their own behalf to change some circumstance, then that's on them to do, but that's not your responsibility. So this week, have the courage to let go. Let go of the worry around either somebody else who doesn't seem happy, or let go of the need to try to kind of coerce or feel the need that somebody else has to rise up and help you achieve a financial goal or some other goal, and realize that you can achieve it on your own. You don't have to have them do more. You have the power within you to do that more, and to get you even beyond that. Again, getting past that limiting mindset and realizing you are limitless. And the other thing that's coming through is, if this is just somebody else in your life who shares your home environment and they are not happy, again, you can be there in a supportive way, but they have to come to that realization on their own, and they have to be the one to take action in their own life to be able to open themselves up to experience wealth. So And that might be a hard thing. This might be for some of you guys that you're actually having to realize that maybe a partnership needs to end. And that can be a very difficult realization to come to. But again, you're not there to live someone else's life. You have to live your own. And as they have to be self-responsible to living theirs. Okay, so Sagittarius, I'm also going to pull one additional card here for the principle of contemplation, which is going to allow us to tap into the power of reflection. This is where we build in a chance for us to continue to self-educate through direct experience by looking at the consequences of our actions. And this also is where we get a chance to start the Triad of Engagement from step one all over again. So we get a chance to take a look at the consequences of what happened where we chose to take action. So in this case, it would be, okay, this week I worked on letting go of my desire to control somebody else in my home life. That directly affects and correlates to my experience of abundance or wealth. And what happened when I let go? And then we get back to when we say, well, what happened? That's where we engage with curiosity again. What happened? And as we see what happened, and then we can step back into courage and build out a new awareness of actions to say, okay, well, I'm going to do more of this. Actually, letting go really was powerful, and I'm going to continue to have the courage to let go from this point forward. Or, wow, it was really difficult, and I, in turn, chose to take this kind of action, and maybe it didn't have the best response. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to change that a little bit. And this is where contemplation allows us to not get into a place of complacency or stagnation, because we are constantly, actively contemplating on the consequences of our actions. We're seeing in real time what happens. So as an example, this would be something along the lines of maybe you are not happy with how your communication is with somebody in your life. And so you choose to change how you communicate with that person. And that person suddenly opens up and responds in a positive way. And you're like, wow, okay, I'm going to continue to communicate with this person in that way. Or it could be the reverse. The person gets triggered, they shut down, and you're like, whoa, okay, time to go back to square one and self-adjust. I'm going to, maybe there was something wrong with how I communicated. And I'm going to change that a little bit in my next approach. And this is where we get a chance to, again, continue to become more and more self-aware of how we act, of how others receive us, and again, keeping us from not staying in a place of stagnation. So we have Observer, number 49, and that breaks down to number 13 and ultimately to another number 4. So you have two number 4s here. Number 4 is the number of stability, it's the number of foundation building, and the number of building foundations through hard work. So there's almost this quality here that's coming through with Observer of, in your contemplation, observing yourself and the foundations that you've built. And looking at perhaps maybe where there's been a foundation that's been built on a faulty pretense. Now, this could be a foundation built because of your limiting mindset that you felt, well, this is all I can achieve. And so I tried to build around that. And in reality, maybe you're seeing now that actually I settled. And I know my experience of wealth and abundance is more than this. And I need to go back and adjust the foundations that I've built. This could also be where you're just observing foundations and realizing, maybe this part of the foundation is good and this part needs a little work. So as you're taking action to let go and to, again, removing your focus away from the other person in your life and bringing it back to yourself, what are you realizing about the core foundations in your experience? Then this can be directly in the home, which is what's strongly coming through in this message. So I think a lot of you are dealing with things happening in the home. Now, again, this could be the home that you share with a significant other. This could actually also be, if you're a younger person, the home you have with your parents. This could even signify if you have a connection to maybe your parents. Maybe you live outside of your parents, but you are still actively engaged in the home life there. Now, there's something around the home, something around other people, and something around that there's an element of control that's coming through that needs to be released. And in doing so, it's going to, as you let go of that need to control, you're going to be able to see some aspect of your current experience and where you've built foundations that are faulty and that need to be reevaluated. That's really good. I want to go ahead and just pull one more card. I'm just feeling called. I don't know why with you fire signs I'm feeling energized to do more. Okay, so let's see here. So I have 9 of Wands and 3 of Pentacles that came through as a final message here. So 9 of Wands is that kind of weary, wounded warrior type card. It's, I've taken action and I've gotten to this point, but I'm exhausted. I don't know if I have it just feels like too much effort to complete this cycle, to continue the work I've been doing. And this is in regards to the 3 of Pentacles, which is building something. This is building something with others in the tangible world. So there's this quality here of getting weary, you're weary about what you've been building with another. And where I'm thinking this is coming through with the Observer card here is that there's this quality of it's time to see what you want to build. And when we're looking at foundations, if you're going to tear down a foundation, or if a foundation isn't quite, if it's built on kind of a faulty pretense, where can you go back a step and start to rebuild again with others? Because this is about rebuilding with others. This isn't just about building on your own. This is about building with another. So where do you feel like you're just exhausted? You're like, I keep trying to get on the same page with somebody about building something, and we can't get there. My realization just isn't coming to fruition. And this is kind of saying, well, why don't you go back and maybe it's time to reevaluate the original plan. Maybe that's why you're not feeling this sense of security and peace, because your original idea. So imagine if all these people are kind of working together from these plans, from these blueprints. Maybe the blueprints were off to begin with. And so there's this quality here of going that one step further to complete this cycle, to get from the 9 of Wands to the 10 of Wands, to be able to release the burden. Because that's what the next card is in the cycle. It's the 10 of Wands. And the 10 of Wands is the carrying of all the wands on your back and finally releasing them. It's actually also a card kind of that signifies homecoming, that you're finally taking all of this effort that you've been carrying on your back within the energy of wands, and you're coming home to lay them down. So there's this quality here of going that one step further and putting down what isn't yours, to reevaluate what you're building with another. And that maybe these blueprints, these plans have to be adjusted a little bit. Again, if you built them originally on a limited mindset, and let's say 10 years ago, you were like, yeah, the only thing we'll ever be able to purchase is a condo, so let's just get into this condo. And all of a sudden now you have 3 children and you're all living on top of each other, and you're constantly frustrated because you feel like you live in a small space and you work your butt off. Maybe your partner isn't working as hard to make more money, and you're like, we need to get out of this condo. Would you just make more money to help all of us make more money? And what's really coming through is to say, no, you can make more money. Where are you not realizing your own potential here? And that maybe perhaps, again, when you originally settled on the small condo, knowing full well that you would never truly be happy with that maybe your partner was. And they were like, yeah, it's great. This is all I need. I just want a small space. This is perfect. And you've just been secretly frustrated ever since. So this is where then you might have to go back and readjust those plans to say, actually, I don't want to build this little condo. I want to build a giant mansion. And you can either be on board or not, but I'm going to start building the mansion and finding those who want to build with me. Or I'm going to build on my own happiness. If you don't want to build on your own happiness, so be it. But I'm going to be the one to start doing this as a new hobby. I'm going to be the one that's going to go start to do yoga and see a therapist. If you don't want to do that yourself, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it because I'm going to start building towards a bigger vision that is not as limiting as my original vision was. As to kind of, I feel like this feeling of settling. There's this element of almost like planning too small to begin with, and now you're just tired of it. All right, Sagittarius, I hope that this has been an illuminating reading. I hope you got a chance to take away something from it. If anything, just remember this week, focus on letting your need and worry towards other people, even if it's coming from the best place and the best of intentions. Release that, bring it back to yourself, because what Spirit is asking you to do this week is to release that, because in bringing awareness away from somebody else and bringing it back to yourself, you're going to see some aspect of yourself through where something is not working currently in your foundations. And that's where the change needs to happen to get you back on course to connecting with your spiritual purpose. So that's the big takeaway here, Sagittarius. All right, so if you'd like to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. Likes and subscribes are greatly appreciated. However, just you watching this reading is gift enough for me. This is my emotional fulfillment. So thank you for allowing me to do this and giving me a platform too. Bye.